I was going to say what lessons or what advice they have for people, but you're already giving us nuggets.
At 3, 4 in the morning, I'm not anybody's mommy, I'm not anybody's wife, I'm not, I'm not mama. It's your strength. You shouldn't see it as your weakness. You are coming from a different place, you have different experiences, things that you can bring to the table that make you unique to who you are.
Hello and welcome back to the Moneymatics Podcast. This is a show where we talk about all things money, and we share real life stories, and we do these mostly for Africans living in diaspora. And today's episode is very special because I have someone here who is an entrepreneur, and we're talking entrepreneurship. We're talking what it takes to start a business. We're talking the ups, the downs, and everything in between. So join me as I welcome my guest today, who is a business owner right here in Sweden. Hi, Laraba. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm very honored to be here.
So you're running business here, and you're from Nigeria. We're going to walk through all of that, but let's start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Laraba.
So my name is Laraba. I come from Nigeria originally. I've lived in a few different places and then ended up in Sweden. I would say about 15 years ago now. So I've been living in Sweden. I have my husband and my kids here now, so Sweden also feels like home now. I'm a dentist by profession with many years of experience, almost 15 years of experience now working in Sweden. And now I'm also a business owner, and I own a business that I run, which is totally different from healthcare. So I did a complete 180 on that one. That's what's brought me to...
Thank you. That's interesting. You've lived there 15 years. I think I've also done roughly 16 something years, so probably moved around the same time. I was going to ask you, is your business related to dental care? But you already said it's not. So tell us a little bit about what you do and what your business is about.
So I have a business that's called Cocomera. It's an e-commerce business, so it's an online retailer. So we retail hair care, skin care, but our niche is catering to textured hair, so wavy, curly hair, so types 2 to 4 type of hair, and then beauty products for melanated skin. We carry both global brands and some local brands, and that we've curated on our website.
Interesting. So how does a dentist become someone who is into e-commerce selling hair products? I need to get the gist of that.
Well, it's not, I like to think of it as an ongoing story or ongoing part of my life. I don't think I've ever thought of myself as just one thing. And I don't like to put myself in one specific box. So, and I feel like we're all capable of doing many things, doing great things. You're not just your profession, so to say. Sometimes you're a mom, you're a wife, you are a friend, and you have many different parts of your life that you're trying to balance. But basically, I've always been interested in hair care, skin care. I've always been interested in business or starting something of my own. And those two kind of came to a head in Sweden some years ago when I couldn't just drop this idea for Cocomera, and I decided to start it.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing that. So did growing up in Nigeria influence this business side of you?
I would say definitely. Plays a big part in who I am. I grew up there. It's a big part of my upbringing. It's a big part of my identity. A lot of the experiences I have come from, watching family and friends in Nigeria. And I think in Nigeria, entrepreneurship is a big part of it. Part of our economy, part of our identity as a people. In Nigeria, it's very common to find that people have multiple streams of income. You have your 9-to-5 job, but you also have something you're selling on the side or another business enterprise that you have on the side. And I grew up seeing that, and that was very normal. Normal for me. Like my parents, my family members, they had their 9-to-5 jobs, but your auntie is also selling lace on the side.
Yeah, that's true.
Selling material on the side or selling something. Yeah. It was a very big part of our identity that you probably from a place of necessity that you had to have
something else.
Yeah, you had to have multiple streams of income in case one didn't come through.
Or maybe the government doesn't pay your salary. You need to have something.
So that's not always guaranteed. So that a very big part of it. So when I came to Sweden, yes, I see the security that you have, the financial security that you have with your job and everything. So it might not be
out of necessity.
Yeah, it might not be out of necessity, but I guess that was already ingrained in me. So it didn't feel like I had to do just one thing. It's always been like at the back of my head, I guess.
I like that you shared that, because when you were saying that in Nigeria, most times people have their day job, but they're doing something on irrespective of the profession. My mom used to come from a place where they had like very good honey. So she sold honey. Exactly. People knew that if you go to her house, you find honey, and she did all these kind of things.
I mean, everybody I think I knew growing up had like multiple streams of income. Like
just to make sure that there's always something coming in.
There's something, my aunties had poultries or stuff like that, sold eggs, chickens, there was just always entrepreneurship everywhere you looked, everywhere I looked. And it wasn't, it wasn't a big deal, or maybe how it seems maybe here that you take a big step out to
start a
business.
That's actually true, because here sometimes you feel like you're either in your head is thinking of your day job only, but when you want to think of business, it looks like a big risk. Yeah. So for you, I know what dental care is like in Sweden. I had a colleague that used to say, even though the money is good, I just can't imagine putting my hand in. So it wasn't out of necessity. So what made you think, I'm going to start this business now?
Yeah, as you said, it wasn't really out of necessity. I mean, like being a dentist is not a bad job per se in Sweden, and I think a lot of people, are shocked by that fact when they find out that
you actually had
I was a dentist and I left that side to do this. But no, honestly, to be naive in the beginning, I thought I could do both. I thought I could do my 9-to-5 and then do this on the side, and I was like, it's a brilliant idea. It will run itself. I will just need to put a few hours in. But the reality of the fact is that it takes quite a lot to start a business, to run a business, and at some point I had to
let go of one.
Yeah, I had to make a decision. So for a lot of like personal reasons also, and then the business was growing, and I decided that like if I didn't give this full focus and really see how far this could go, I would never know. It was very hard to balance both at the same time, and you have commitments, being a wife, being a mother.
Yeah, that's true.
Something has to give. And made a calculated decision with my family also.
When do you decide that, okay, my side hustle or my side business is doing well enough, or I want to focus on it fully? I want to go back to that, and I want us to talk about it. But before we get there, did you feel like this is a big risk when you started? How did you think about the risk of like, I'm starting a business and then I'm doing my normal work? Sometimes I think of like, oh my God, it's a big deal to go from having a stable income to doing something on the side. And I just wanted you to talk a little bit about taking that risk, if your background factored into that, and maybe it didn't feel like a risk because you're doing it with your job at first, but then when you did decide to maybe go full time, talk us through risk taking.
Yeah, I think I've always wanted to create something, create my own thing, create more freedom for myself, stability and all that. And initially, I think being a dentist, I wanted to have my own clinic and do that and everything. And I was, kind of working towards that initially. But then, this idea came into my mind with Cocomera, and, seeing the necessity and having my own frustrations and seeing that there was a real need in the market and a problem to solve. I had the idea in my mind for years. I couldn't drop it. I was thinking, what do I know? I'm a dentist.
What am I going to be selling?
Just face
your focus.
Yeah, face your focus and do what you are doing. Do what you've been doing for years. Do what you are trained to do also. So I would say I struggled with the idea for a very long time. I had in my mind, but at the end of the day, I couldn't drop the idea. I couldn't drop it. Every time I just kept thinking, what if? And at the end of the day, you never know if you don't try.
No.
And it got to a point where I was like, no, I want to see if I can do this, and I believe I can do this, and I believe I can do this well. And then I decided to take the leap of faith, thinking that I will do this and still do this, on the side, have my cake and eat it, all that kind of things. But I really struggled with coming to terms with, okay, I'm going to do this full time now, or being an entrepreneur now. I think even till today, if you ask me, I still struggle with what to tell you, if I'm a dentist, if I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah, there's that identity. You're in transition, maybe.
Yeah, I'm in transition. So I've made my peace with it. I'm in transition. And me and my husband like to joke, like, I have a very great plan B. If this goes, if this doesn't work, it's not so bad to go back to, full time my job as a dentist. So I have a great plan B, and that also gives me a little bit of comfort in the risk I'm taking, because business is risk. You have to respect it. I respect risk, but I wouldn't say I'm not averse to taking risk or I'm not afraid of it. First of all, being a dentist, I wouldn't say you're risk averse, because it takes a lot of studying, it takes a lot of hard work. And I don't think there's anybody that you meet and they tell you, oh, you want to be a dentist, and they're like, oh, good for you. I wouldn't say I'm averse to risk. I'm just very aware of it. But in business, you have to make calculated risk. You sit down, you look at it as a whole, you look at the pros, the cons. I wouldn't underplay the fact that, I did this in relation with my family, with my husband. It wasn't like a decision I just took on my own. We had to sit down, a family, and talk about it and make sure that he's on board with it, because I need his support, and we support each other.
Because, that's one income that is stable that might be shaky for a while. So you were doing both. You were doing your dental care, and then you were starting this business. At what point did you realize this combo is not combining? I need to pick my battle.
In the beginning, I didn't start Cocomera alone. No. I had a partner. So
really? I didn't even know that.
So we started it together. I had the idea, brought her on board, and so we started it together. We saving for it, doing the planning. I wasn't alone, so that was
made it easy.
It made it a little bit easier, but we both time constraints were a real big factor, because you're doing this after work. It was a lot of early mornings for me. I would wake up really early, sometimes before the kids woke up, to try to get in 1-2 hours, replying emails, trying to email suppliers, all those kind of stuff. But then, you would go to work. Some things you can't do during the day. No. You would have to find time during the day to do things that needed to be done during business hours. So it took a lot of maneuvering. It was hard work and everything. But I was excited about it. I really wanted to do it, and that kind of
gave you ginger.
But then it got to a point where, then I took over the business fully after a while. And then we started making sales. And then, I just realized that this requires more time than I can give, straddling
both.
2 jobs, and that was where I decided to
focus on it. So did you focus on it when you were because some people will say don't leave your day job until your side hustle is making you the same amount of money and all of that. What is your take on that? Or is it more of still a risk of, and because I've also seen people that say you need to go all in for you to even see the results, and I know that everybody's journey is different. So share your own journey. Was it more of just okay, I think for it to grow I need to drop one thing and maybe give this a chance?
Everybody's journey is different. I don't know if there's like some playbook that says, okay, this is exactly where you should focus on your side hustle to make it whatever. You have to look within and see what is important to you. What are your priorities? I wouldn't say Cocomera is making me what I was making as a dentist. Yeah, but there's long-term planning involved. And then are you ready to do hard things? Starting a business is not easy. Are you ready to take that cut in your pay, you know, to cut back on some things, to build this thing that you know in the long run will probably do better than what you are doing or give you more freedom than what you're doing. So you have to weigh what you think is important. I wanted more. I was not even really the money. I wanted more the freedom for myself. Being a dentist didn't give me
I'm with you on that.
A lot of freedom.
I'm with you on that.
And Cocomera allows me to work from home. I have more freedom in deciding how my work day kind of looks like. And my kids are really small right now. That gives me a lot more freedom with them. And for me, that was enough. It's not even like the financial part. For me, that was really what was the top priority for me. That it made me, you know, my decision that like, okay, I should do this full time. When my kids are small now, I can work from home. If I want later on, my work day can look
anyhow you want it to look.
However I want it to look. So it's a very personal decision, I feel. Like you have to see what are your priorities. If it's okay, you want your paycheck to be the same or more or whatever, then that's going to decide when it stops being a side hustle for you to anyway. Yeah, but I would say it's very personal.
Thank you for sharing that. You were talking about taking a pay cut, even when you were emailing suppliers and all of this. What was the toughest money challenge that you faced right here in Sweden? Because I'm thinking about viewers and like, I want to do that business, but I know that it's maybe capital intensive, or I know that I need more capital. Do you just go to the bank, get a loan? Do you just like wake up, or do you have to save like 3 years before so that you know what you're doing before you start?
Yeah, I mean, financing is a big part of any business. First of all, you have to kind of do your market research, find out what does your business need to set up and everything. We did all that, looked at the numbers and everything. And then I think if you're being honest, you have to, depending on how much money you have to, we had to scale back. In my opinion, don't be afraid to start small. Your ideas might be big might be grandiose and all that, but don't be afraid to start small. Like Cocomera, I started it in my guest bedroom, like so many other businesses that you hear. Yeah, we had a spare bedroom. I had that as my warehouse, my office.
Everything.
Yeah, I was doing everything there. You know, we tried to keep as much of it in-house as possible. Prioritize, okay, it was things like, cash flow is very important. You don't want to spend too much on inventory, but at the same time, you have to look. A lot of suppliers have minimum order quantities that you have to meet. Don't be afraid to ask, and negotiate with them and say, okay, please, can I get a smaller minimum order quantity for this first order or something like that? Or, you have to, chase it down. Don't just take everything at
the standard that they set. You need to
call them, email them and say, will you be willing to accept a smaller minimum order quantity for this first order or something? Or can I get it on, buy now, pay later? Or something like give you 30 days or 60 days or something like that. And I mean, most businesses are sometimes willing to be flexible. Sometimes it takes trust because you're a new business. They don't know you from anywhere. They are not sure. But if you're persistent, sometimes you can save some money here and there and, start small. I mean, if I think of Cocomera, it was things like, not outsourcing, like getting a big warehouse in the beginning or something like that, starting small. Buying small inventory stock, in the beginning and seeing which products moved, which products did not really move, your finance is really tight in the beginning.
I like the fact that you're talking about starting small, because sometimes, we have these ideas, we know where we're going, and we can tend to operate from that. I've seen people that, like, when they're talking about their business, they're already buying things, doing things without seeing how the business is going to go. So I like the fact that you're talking about starting small, starting where you are, and then scaling as you go, because that's a big part of business.
Yeah, because starting small also helps you to know, is this going to be a viable business or not? Are people going to buy what you are selling or not?
Yeah.
Starting a business is like partly having vision. Everybody is not going to have your vision. You might think, this is a great idea in your head. It sounds amazing. You will pay for it, but are your target customers out there
going to pay for it?
Yeah.
That's something that I'm not even a business person, I guess, even though I'm doing this podcast on the side and all of that. But I get that sometimes you think that this is the best thing, and then you put it out and people are like, eh.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was the same thing. There are products out there that I've tested and think, oh, like, oh, this is amazing, blah, blah, blah. And then, maybe you want to buy
a lot of it.
Yeah, 1,000 of it. But are people going to buy it if you put it on your website? You have to. So you have to, like, it gives you an opportunity to start small. Buy half a dozen. Buy 1 dozen. If it flies off the shelves, then
that, okay, this is something that
this is the product that people
will buy.
Yeah, out there want.
Yeah, so we talked about you having a totally different profession and then starting this. Tell us about your inspiration, because I know that for a lot of businesses, there's always something that inspires, or there's a problem you're trying to solve, like people will say.
Yeah, every business, I guess, is trying to solve a problem. I would say inspiration behind Cocomera, I would say part frustration, part necessity.
What were you frustrated about?
Frustration. It might sound funny to say frustration, but frustration for me was like trying to find hair care products that, worked for my hair type and beauty products from my skin type in a country like Sweden or in Scandinavia, where the big beauty brands don't really cater to people of color, where we are quite underserved in the community. So when I first moved to Sweden, I lived in Uddevalla. Do you know where that is?
No, I've heard the name. I know. I'm supposed to know this.
Uddevalla, you should Google it. But is
that in the north or in the south?
No, it's like an hour from Gothenburg or something like that. But there was not much there.
Nothing happening in Uddevalla. No shade on Uddevalla, but
I moved for work. It will always have a special place by that, but there was nothing there. It wasn't a major city. We didn't have African food stores. I can't remember there being any African food stores or anything. So if I wanted to get those kind of things, I had to go to Gothenburg. And then so I would go to Gothenburg, buy some things, but even there it was kind of hard getting products you needed. And then for somebody that has, I've lived in England as well, where the product offerings were different and very easily accessible. So I always, I had family, I still do, in London. So I would travel a lot to London.
I'm feeling
my suitcase with products. When I came to Sweden, I came as an adult. So I knew kind of what worked for me, what didn't work. So I would just fill up on those products when I was away out of Sweden, traveling or whatever, and bring them back. And my husband thought I was crazy, carrying all these products up and down. But then, and then I had my kids, my daughter, her hair texture is different from mine. So what worked for me necessarily did not work for her. And then I was trying to find products here, and I realized they weren't readily available. I couldn't get my hands on products. I couldn't get my hands on good products. You're looking online, you can see a lot of products in the US, in London, but you can't find them here. And they're products you want to try. And then, so I was really frustrated with that. And then it hit me that I can't be the only one
going through
this or having this issue or this problem. And then this was when e-commerce was really starting to tick off also really in Sweden. But then it was just before the pandemic that I really sat down and thought that, this can be a viable business. This is a real everyday problem that I will be solving for a lot of people. In the big cities in Sweden now, we have some of these stores, some of these physical stores. But like for the people living in the Uddevallas
of this world,
of Sweden and Scandinavia, that they can get these products online sent right to them.
I think it's a real problem you're trying to solve, because I have a friend, she used to be like, anybody going to the US, you have to help her bring something, because she just knew the things that worked for her.
Like that, yeah.
Have you heard from your customers, other people that have been like, thank God for your store, because now I no longer have to struggle?
Yeah, we do get a lot of emails. People are like, oh, I'm so happy I found you guys, or is this product coming back in store? I'm so happy, please let me know, I want to buy, and then we get a lot of orders from everywhere. I mean, up until this autumn, just before Christmas, we sold only in Sweden. Sometimes I will get an order, I've never heard of this place in Sweden. So I actually bought a map in my,
so that you can see
office to like pinpoint this place, because sometimes I would have to Google where is the this place even, and then I'll look at it and be like, oh, okay, somebody with textured the hair there, or maybe they have kids with textured hair or something lives there, found our website and decided to make an order.
Wow.
Then I could see, like, especially the last year, so 2023, 2024, we could really see how, like,
you're reaching
how the reach was, and that there were customers out there, and it was a real proof of concept for me that there are people that want these products and will buy these products, and that we're on the right track.
I've bought things from Cocomera, and for me, what it has done is we have options. So before, maybe it's only one thing. I don't want to mention any brand. You're like, oh, just buy this thing, the orange bottle. That's all we had, and then now you have other things, and you're able to try other things for your. Well, I don't have much hair on my head, but my daughter, I'm able to do a lot with her hair. So it's really good that
so
the options
was the
are
thing,
available.
because especially textured hair is so different from texture to texture, and we just wanted to curate really good products with good ingredients that respect textured hair and the people that are using them. So that's what we focus on.
So how long have you had Cocomera now?
I think we've been in business we were registered 2020 in the pandemic. So that was when we registered the company and everything. But I think we've been doing sales for almost 3 years now.
Okay.
So we started selling like 3 years ago.
3 years is a long time. What are some of the hardest lessons you've learned? I want you to share. Maybe we start first with the financial hard lessons, and then we go to other lessons. But if you think of what's the biggest financial challenge and how did you overcome? Hi, I know you want to go back to the rest of the video, but I just want to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. So if you haven't clicked the subscribe button, please go ahead and do that right now. Click the subscribe button, like this video, and share it with your network. And make sure you leave a comment at the end of the video. I am happy to read your comments, to read your thoughts, and we promise to always bring you these kind of educative, informative sessions. So don't forget, click the like button, click the subscribe button, and enjoy the rest of the video.
I mean, for me, I would say the financial challenges is realizing that cash flow is everything. Cash flow is really big. You have to really look at what's coming in, what's going out. You have to have a really
Everybody keeps saying this, your cash flow. So please break it down for us.
Yeah, it is everything. I mean, without getting too technical, you have to know how much is coming into your business and how much is going out. You can have great sales, be doing great numbers, but even if your business is porous and there's a lot of money coming out, you're not gonna see money to grow really, or to even make a profit or anything. So you really have to keep tabs on that. What are you spending on? What are the big things you're spending on? How much sales are you making? What revenue are you bringing in? I'll say if I think of Cocomera, our biggest, maybe the thing we spend the most on is marketing, online marketing, because we're not a physical store. We're purely,
so people need to be able to find you.
We're purely online for now. So people have to be able to find us. We spend quite a bit on like marketing ourselves online. I mean, I would say the last 2 years, those were our biggest spends. And it can kind of run away from you a bit. For example, if I think last year, we definitely spent way too much of our revenue on like ad spend. And so this year I really had to like look at the numbers again and dial it down a bit and bring it down a bit because it just wasn't, we weren't getting enough return on our ad spend.
So is cash flow more like, okay, as the money is coming in, it shouldn't be flowing out too much? Because sometimes, like you're saying, you have great sales, maybe over a year you probably made money, but if the money is not coming in when you need it, then there will be a problem with the business.
Exactly, because like you have maybe your fixed costs that you're spending. If you're warehouse, for us it's like, okay, warehouse, inventory, like we spend a lot on like buying our stock in and everything on. So you have to make sure that
They're always
that
in
is always in balance. And it's always good to have like a little buffer also for those spends that might come up without having planned. Like for me, I'll say like our biggest lesson 2023 was that we were starting to make really great sales, starting to spend. Our revenue was like going to be triple the year before, and I was really excited and everything like that, but we probably didn't take into account that maybe we should have changed our duty moms payments to like quarterly. There's a limit of where you can do it up to annually. So in the beginning we didn't feel like we needed to pay quarterly because we were under that threshold. And then when the sales started coming in, we maybe didn't pivot fast enough and say, oh, now we should be paying quarterly. So at the end of the year, we got a big fat, juicy letter from Skatteverket, and that was like a real
shock.
Yeah, that was a real lesson learned. So things like that. And if we had like a bigger buffer, that wouldn't have been maybe a big shock to us. But I learned some hard lessons from that and everything. So cash flow is everything. If I think like personally, entrepreneurship can be isolating depending on what
especially
you're doing
here in Sweden, maybe everybody else has a 9 to 5 and you are the person who is an entrepreneur.
Exactly. So it can be isolating depending on what you're doing and how you're doing it. Like now I work a lot from home. I'm doing a lot of the roles in Cocomera, depending on what it is. And so you spend a lot of time alone with your own thoughts. It's kind of good to maybe have somebody that you can roll your ideas. So my husband suffers a lot for that. And then trying to find your community. Now I know some people and everything and all that. So I'll say that's maybe the biggest financial and the biggest personal lesson for me, because like going from like a dentist where you're working in a clinic and there's like 10, 15 people that you're seeing every day,
that's
to
true.
like, now being
an e-commerce
and being like alone most of the time and having to find like your community in that world. But
I relate with that. Even doing this podcast, sometimes you're like, okay, now I need to have people to just bounce ideas with, or people in the same doing things. Have you picked up like new habits, new tools to help you navigate this journey?
I would say I'm trying to like network and get out there and everything. So that's a work in progress. But
are you a naturally outgoing person, or is that also a hurdle?
I would say it depends on the day.
It depends on how you woke up in the morning.
It depends on the day. Yeah, you really have to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to talk about it. Don't be afraid to find, communities. I mean, there's a lot of things online. There's a lot of places where you can find a community. So if you're not a shy person and you're very good at putting yourself out there and everything, you will find like community and places where people are like-minded and you can grow and find network and, connect with people.
Thank you for sharing that. So my next question is, Has owning a business changed how you think about money and security and just finances generally?
Definitely. I mean, like for me, Cocomera up to this point is like personally funded. I haven't taken in any external like financing or anything like that. So but that's just my personal experience. Obviously, that's a lot of personal risk to me. I mean, money is always is always at the back of your mind when you go from like having a 9 to 5 to an entrepreneurial job. It's always there. You're always thinking about it
because there's no check coming at the end of the month if you don't work, if you don't do all the things.
Everything is relying on you. You have to make sales, you have to pay your leveranteurs, you have to pay your whatever if you're paying salary at the end of the day. So it's always at the back of your mind. At the end of the day, I want my money to work for me. I'm making long-term plans, trying to be smart about it, but I also want my money to work for me. I don't want
to just be working for the money.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So you shared about deciding, like this is more of your money, personal money. People say, oh, get money from the bank to do your business and all of that. Was it an active decision on your own part not to go for like financing from a financial institution? Or was it more of this part of like your research and the calculated risk?
Yeah, it was, I mean, it's been a very personal decision. It's not like I don't want to take in like external financing or anything like that. I think we just hadn't really gotten to that stage. I wanted to be careful about that. I wanted to, I still want to keep as much equity as possible right now. So, and it goes back to what I say by like
starting small.
Not being afraid to start small. So I have big plans for Cocomera. We're not even anywhere near where like my business plan initially was set up. So I'm learning to start small, enjoy the process as it is. Don't be afraid to start small. Document everything. Document, your process, how you've gotten from here to be, and then you'll be in a better place later on to take in external financing or anything. Not that, you shouldn't,
get a loan, but you need to be where you think that, the loan is
just not been my personal experience yet. I've used inventory financing to to be able to buy like bigger stock for products that I thought were doing really well and all that, but that's just been paid that off immediately. So I've not had to lose any equity using that form of financing. So, but I haven't taken like a loan from the bank or anything per se.
So having done this for 3 years and growing with it, what is your advice to maybe a woman out there who wants to start a business, or maybe even an immigrant? Okay, even before we get to that, as being someone who doesn't originally come from Sweden, affected the business in one way or the other, whether positively or negatively? Have you experienced anything that you feel like, oh, this is only because, or this is peculiar to me because I am not a native?
I wouldn't say necessarily, but networking can be a big part of business. And I'll say that's what sometimes maybe I find that I kind of lack networking because I didn't grow up here. You do your network is
scattered around the world.
Yeah, it's scattered around the world, not just necessarily in Stockholm or in Sweden per se. But there are ways around that. There are like different communities here. Like there's an organization called Women of Color in Biz.
Oh, I was at the event.
Yeah, and I think they're doing amazing stuff. There's a lot of like-minded people. Yeah, people there. I've been to one or two of their events as well, and follow them online. So ways around this networking thing, and like I think it's very good that they've recognized that this is an issue, the networking thing, and they're doing something about it. So I would say networking has probably been the biggest issue, but otherwise Sweden is very structured when it comes to business. There's a lot of, you don't have to go far to look for the information you need. A lot of it is out there online. Vexamt has everything you need, and you just need some time to sit down to go through all that information. So I wouldn't say there is a hindering block just because you're an immigrant. Everything is out there online. I would say maybe it's just networking that can be the issue, but there are other things out there.
I like the fact that, because sometimes I notice that depending on where you are and the kind of conversation you're having, people tend to feel like, oh, because I'm in Sweden and I don't come from here, and it looks more like a barrier that you give yourself, because like you said, the information is available to everyone, irrespective of where you come from.
I would say, don't let it be a mental barrier to you. It's your strength. You shouldn't see it as your weakness. You are coming from a different place. You have different experiences, things that you can bring to the table that make you unique to who you are. Yeah. And then so you should see it as your strength. I see it as my strength.
The fact that you're even here already shows resilience. Exactly. You are in another person's country in this cold.
I see it as, my strength, that I'm coming with different ideas and a different outlook, a different approach. I've lived in a lot of different countries before coming to Sweden, and for me, that's a strength, not a weakness per se. So I think you should see it that way and not let it hold you back. You have a lot to offer. And then secondly, if I think about it, are you going to serve only people with an immigrant background in Sweden? Then your business is not going to hold, if I'm being honest, because that demographic is small. Yeah, it's small. It's growing, but it's small. But so it's not going to hold. It's not only people of immigrant backgrounds that have curly hair per se. It's a niche, but I'm not serving only that community. There's a lot of people that have curly hair and textured hair in Sweden, and my products are able to. Did you have to change your? Did you start first thinking, I'm going to serve people like me, and then you realize, oh, the demographic is small? Or has it always been in your mind that, okay, I'm doing this for everyone? It's for everyone with textured hair, really. There's also a lot of products on our website that cater to everybody, for all that are for all hair types. So really, that's just our niche, as I like to say. It's not like, that's our only customer base. Anybody that uses hair products, beauty products, and everything can definitely come and buy something or find something on our website. But our niche is textured hair. Yeah, and I understand that, because sometimes, and we've had this discussion with my husband, when I say, oh, I'm talking about money, and I'm in a way, my focus is Africans living in diaspora. And he's like, but Africans, how many of us are here? But I'm like, yes, anybody that listens to this podcast can pick something for themselves. But it's just that sometimes you still have to kind of have a focus, so that you have to have a niche, even though you have to be ready to cater to more than just your niche. Absolutely. I'm glad that we got to that. Now you've talked about, being an immigrant here in Sweden doing business. Does being a woman play a role as well? Does it affect you as a business person, like doing this as a woman? Would it have been different if you were a man? Would it have been different? Yeah, if I was a man, I probably wouldn't have done this business per se, because my target customer are women, basically. So if a man can do it, obviously, but a woman can do it better. But I like to say I'm my target customer, so I think of myself as my target customer, what I like, what products would I like to use, what parents would I like to see. So I don't know if I'm a man, if I would do, No, but now they're telling men, please do skincare, please do hair care, and all of that. A lot of the brands you see, you'll be surprised how much of them have men in the background behind it. They might not be the face of the company, and they bring a different perspective to it. They can be probably definitely more technical, stuff like that, and maybe already have a great network, and financing is, we all know financing is readily more available. The statistics are there. Men definitely get more financing than female businesses. It's not something that I'm just saying. So they can definitely bring in more financing and all that, but because you're a woman doesn't mean it should stop you from doing something you're set out to do.
Are there peculiar challenges of being a mom, a wife, trying to do business? Because sometimes I joke, like, there are times when I want to lock myself in the office and just edit, but then the kids want food, they want to eat, and somehow I can't just let it go. Meanwhile, if I was a guy, maybe I'll just be like, somebody else is going to take care of that, or they're going to be fine, and I can just disappear for a whole day in my room doing my thing.
I don't know. I mean, like, for me, it's definitely put a different layer on everything. Like, sometimes I think I must have had so much time when I didn't have children, and I'm not sure what I was doing with it. I can't even remember that part of my life. But I would say you being a mom is a superpower, because you learn to do things differently. You know, you learn to maximize the little time that you have. I mean, you always try to find times where the kids are not distracting you. For me, that was like, okay, I'm gonna wake up very early in the morning before anybody
else is awake.
Before anybody else is awake.
Before anybody else needs you.
At 3-4 in the morning, I'm not anybody's mommy. I'm not anybody's wife. I'm not, I'm not mama, nothing. I'm myself, and I can focus on what I want to do. And, the kids are not always going to be small forever. But in that season, you have to find what works for you. Me and my husband, we have great communication. When it's crunch time and I say, okay, I really need to do this, you have to do this or whatever, please take time out of whatever you are also doing to support me here. And so does that. You have to make it work where but also not be afraid to do hard things. Sometimes it's hard when there are different strings pulling at you. You've gone to work, you have to take the kids to the activities, you're tired, you're blah blah blah. But I like to think of everything is seasonal. So don't be afraid to put in the hard work in that season. And then, also find time to relax and take care of yourself when you need it. But everything is seasonal. Sometimes it's going to be really hard when you really need focus. But I don't believe it's always going to be like that. And I don't aspire to always be on go, So I've learned as a mom, I take time for myself. I do things like, I go play tennis. That I also do very early in the morning before I'm anybody's anything. I go for myself. I do it for myself.
Self-care. Soul care.
Yeah, soul care, because I feel good about it. So whatever it is, if it's going to the gym, if it's going for a walk, take your earphones,
and just
go for a walk. They'll be fine.
I know, right?
The kids will also be fine.
They will also be fine, and they will learn that this is it.
I mean, sometimes I tell my kids, this is also my first time being a mom, so
we are all learning together.
We're all in it together. We'll figure it out. And I think we kids, if you're honest with them, they kind of understand. Like, listen, my kids are involved. If you ask them about Cocomera, they will definitely be able to explain it to you.
And in a way, you're already building generational wealth, because your kids are seeing, just like you saw your aunties, your mom, your parents. Exactly. They're also seeing that sometimes you have to see that.
There's different ways to do things, and if you work hard, something good will definitely come out of it. So I'm not afraid to have them see that side of me and carry them along. They've definitely packed orders, I can tell you, or helped me clean up. They're very much involved. They very much know what mommy is doing, daddy is doing. It's been tough, but I won't say it's been a hindrance per se. I actually started writing Cocomera's business plan when I was on maternity leave with my second. So they've always been at the back of everything that I do in Cocomera, really. So it's been my motivating force, not my hindrance.
That's good that you share that. I was going to say what lessons or what advice they have for people, but you're already giving us nuggets. I love that.
I hope so. I hope that people can listen to this and be inspired, because I really feel everybody has it in them to be able to do something and push themselves and learn. I in no way feel like, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business, whatever, I know everything. I came from a totally different industry. I'm learning as I go along, making mistakes as I go along. I'm backtracking as I go along.
Yeah.
The process is part of it. I'm learning to enjoy it. I'm learning to make better decisions. I keep what is in focus because I just want to be able to provide people with good products, respect the product offerings I'm giving and the people behind these products. Everything else will kind of fall into place, I feel. So, I try to give good service, answer emails as good as possible.
I remember my first time ordering. I got more than I ordered. I got a bonnet. I was like, oh, I didn't put that in my cart, but it came.
Yeah,
so.
I do that sometimes, but that was probably because I recognized your name as well. But, we do that sometimes if we have samples, or sometimes you just throw them in there.
It's a nice surprise for someone who's like, oh,
sometimes people message back and say, oh, I got this. Was this supposed to be in here? Thank you. Like sometimes people don't reply, but I'm very sure they appreciate it. And yeah, we just do that.
I like the fact that you said, put your focus as your focus, because it's very easy to be distracted when you're doing business or when you're to be distracted by all these other things, the challenges, and you have to kind of like remember, why did I start this and why am I doing this? And to keep that always in front of you. I like that. I started this December, November. I was like, focus on your focus. And it's been my mantra, focus on your focus.
Yeah. I mean, keep that in focus. It's really hard running a business. It's not easy. You're always thinking of cash flow. You're always thinking of sales. You're always thinking of, what am I going to do? But if you step back a bit and focus, okay, why did I start this? Why did I, try to think that I can solve this problem and create this business or anything? I think you'll find some... I tend to find some peace when I step back and think, oh, why am I doing Cocomera? It's because I know there's people out there like me that find it hard to find products in Sweden, in Scandinavia, and those are my target people. And then, sometimes, things have a funny way of working out when you're feeling like, oh, this is like, I know. Then something happens and then you're like,
and you get, you're like, okay,
I get that email from a customer, or I get that order that's huge, and I'm like, oh, okay, like somebody out there really wants this. Really wants this, and you get that push again.
I relate to that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be rosy, like you said. Sometimes you're down, and then you get an email, and then you're like, okay, let's keep doing this. There's somebody out there that wants it. That's good. I like that advice. So, and just to round this up, we've had Cocomera. Tell us where people can find your products. The website, is it Cocomera.se? Okay. So if you're living in Sweden or even in Scandinavia and you want to buy products for your hair, for your skin, it's Cocomera.se.
On Instagram, Cocomera Beauty. On TikTok, Cocomera Beauty. So please follow us, give us a like, and we're always open to receiving emails. If there's any product lines you want to try that we don't offer, please send us an email. We'll try.
I've made my request on behalf of on behalf of some Nigerians.
Yes. So we source a lot of the products that we sell from a lot of the brands are US brands, because obviously the demographic there for people with curly hair and black people is huge there. So but we have a lot of local brands as well. I really get excited when I see a new Scandinavian brand. So I try to contact them and see if they want to be on our website, and because I feel like we also need to create ingrown talent, and so that we don't have to buy from so we hosting a brand called Eden Ray Stockholm. They make hair products, and there's local based women that do, and they have amazing stuff. And we're just trying to promote that as well, so that we don't always have to buy products from the US.
So Cocomera, it is Cocomera. Don't you just like the sound of Cocomera? I love the name from the beginning. So
thank you.
Definitely. The key takeaway for me has been interviewing Laraba is that you start where you are. When you have an idea, you may not kick off immediately, but start working on that plan. She was just sharing that she started working on a business plan when she was on maternity leave. She registered the company in 2020. She started making sales 3 years. So it's going to be a journey. everything may not just come together at the same time when you start, but believe in your dream, keep your focus, and just keep pushing it. And I mean, we're encouraging one another. And even if you're in a totally different field, you can do this. Like, I'm an engineer podcasting, she's a dentist selling hair products. You can definitely.
If I can do this, you can do this, because I'm definitely not the most technical person,
That was one question I was going to ask you. Like, do you feel like you're missing an MBA or something? Because sometimes you're like, maybe I should have studied business.
Yes, I do. So I've been toying with the idea of going back to school for that. But on all seriousness, I feel that yes, I do. I mean, I've learned a lot as I go, just because like I'm naturally curious and want to learn, want to know what I'm doing, and spent a lot of time like online, buying small books, doing small courses online, trying to find e-commerce courses online and everything, just because that's the kind of person I am. But yeah, I feel there are maybe like
gaps, skill,
pockets in my knowledge that could probably benefit from me doing a professional course or something like that. So yeah, it's something that I'm definitely considering, and then we'll see if time constraints allow for that kind of thing to happen right now. But yeah, it's not something that I'm opposed to. It's not something that I think I'm too old for, or like anything like that.
Because the funny thing is, sometimes people say a lot of people that have MBAs don't even know how to do business. It's just they know how to do it in a structured way. So doing is a way to learn. And I think that's the thing for me. Like, you're already doing it. So if you notice, okay, there are gaps, then you go and fill those gaps. But don't let not having an MBA stop you, or not having a business administration course or whatever it is stop you.
We're in 2025. There's so much information online. There's that shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, it's just a matter of time, how much you are willing to put to dig and find your own resources and everything. But I don't feel like you need a professional degree to do business. No, definitely not.
I even think sometimes it is ingrained, because some people are just very...
Yeah, but I'm Nigerian, so we have
there
that
somehow.
But you definitely don't need that. But like, yeah, definitely as Nigerians, we have a lot of resilience, a lot of drive. And yeah, I think that has definitely helped, because it's like, if somebody can do it, why can't I do it? So definitely, if I can do it, you can do it too.
Yeah, so that's it. If she can do it, you can do it too. Definitely. And on that note, I want to say thank you for coming to the show.
You.
It's been nice talking to you about this. It's a privilege for me to actually watch the business also growing and learn. You will definitely come back when it has really grown. And you're not only serving Sweden, you're serving Denmark, Finland, Norway, and all of that.
We just recently opened for Europe, actually. So that's exciting. Yeah, that's a big step of growth. So we're taking it as we come.
Thank you for coming again. And on that note, it's a wrap on today's episode. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, to follow, and be a part of the conversation. I want to hear in the comment section what you took from this episode, what stood out for you, and what you're going to do about it, what you're going to apply in your own life. And until I come your way again, this is the Moneymatics Podcast. See ya.
Thank you. Bye.